With a proposed $250 bill, Trump reimagines America by putting himself on its money. That's the headline from the New York Times, and it raises a question that sounds almost too strange to be real. Could a sitting U.S. president actually end up on American paper currency? Here's what we know. President Trump wants to create a $250 bill, a denomination that has never existed, featuring a portrait of himself, timed to America's 250th birthday. If it happens, it would be the biggest overhaul to U.S. currency in more than a century. And it's not coming out of nowhere. Earlier this year, Trump ordered a commemorative 24-karat gold coin with his face on it. Then, in March, the Treasury Department announced that Trump would become the first sitting president to have his signature printed on the nation's money. The $250 bill would be the next step, and by far the boldest one. There's just one significant problem: it's currently illegal. A law dating back to 1866 forbids any living person from appearing on American paper currency. That law wasn't arbitrary, it came after a Treasury official named Spencer Clark quietly put his own face on a 5-cent note, causing a national uproar. Congress moved fast to close that loophole, and the reasoning was pointed: monarchies put living rulers on their coins. Democracies, the thinking went, don't do that. The last time a living president appeared on U.S. paper currency was Abraham Lincoln, whose portrait appeared on a $10 demand note in 1861, before that law existed. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said he doesn't see anything untoward about putting a sitting president on a 250th anniversary bill, and the Treasury Department confirmed it's already working with the Bureau of Engraving and Printing on design concepts. The framing is that Republicans in Congress could pass legislation to make it legal, clearing the path. But right now, the work is being done in anticipation of a law that doesn't yet exist. That's drawn sharp pushback from Democrats. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Jeff Merkley sent a letter this week to the Treasury Department's Inspector General, asking for an investigation into the use of federal money to develop a bill that is, at this moment, illegal to produce. They called it a reflection of misplaced priorities in disregard for our current laws. Beyond the legal fight, there are serious practical hurdles. Larry Felix, a former director of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, says a $250 bill couldn't be rushed into circulation safely. A note of that value would be an immediate target for counterfeiters, meaning new inks, watermarks, and security features would all need to be developed from scratch. As Felix put it, that supply chain cannot be done in a few months. And then there's the cultural dimension. Currency, it turns out, is never just money. The 2016 push to replace Andrew Jackson with Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill divided the country and still hasn't happened. Scholars of monetary history point out that currency designs carry enormous symbolic weight. They are, as one Oxford expert on the history of money put it, imbued with a sense of national identity. In a polarized country, adding a living president's portrait has the potential to become, in his words, an instant fault line. Trump, for his part, doesn't seem troubled by that. In May, he posted a mock-up of a $100 bill with his own portrait on it. Historians of currency note that this kind of self-branding has deep roots. In ancient Rome, emperors put their faces on coins specifically because it was messaging that reached everyone. The $250 bill, if it ever exists, would sit in pockets and wallets across a country that can't agree on much, stamped with the face of its most polarizing president. Whether that bill ever gets made remains an open question, one that will likely be settled in Congress, in court, or both. I'm signing off on that note. In America's 250th year, the fight over whose face belongs on the money turns out to be a fight about who we think we are.